Parshat Toldot offers us so many stories, and one of the stories is the story of the Edom, the red stew that Esau trades his birthright for. I've been thinking a lot about this week, and I've been thinking that many of us have recently become amateur chefs and bakers as well, taking advantage of seemingly endless hours at home. We have turned to the comforts that our kitchens can offer us. And I'll speak for my house that we often bake more desserts and breads than we could realistically eat. So much so that a bit of a pattern has emerged, and I'm wondering if perhaps this scene feels familiar to you as well. So imagine that there are a few cookies sitting on a plate, and you pick one up and you break it in half, and then you break it in half again, only eating 1/4 of a cookie. And then you walk away for a moment, come back, and you pop the other quarter in your mouth. And then again, and before you know it, there's nothing left on the plate. But it's okay, because you ate the cookie in pieces. And somehow there are less calories that way. We can lose in the breakage of the cookie. Sometimes it's easier to tell ourselves a different story instead of coping with the truth. I just ate a plate full of cookies. The Shabbat in Parshat Toldot, we will read the story of Jacob deceiving his father Isaac, pretending to be his brother Esau in order to receive his blessing. Isaac, old and blind, asks his son to come forward so that he can really be sure that it's Esau. And the rabbinic texts here dance around this scene of deception, rationalizing Isaac's behavior and how it was consistent with the narrative of Jacob's dishonesty. Unfortunately, deception is not only cyclical, but it also grows beyond affecting our individual spheres of influence. When Esau comes to get what is rightfully his, Isaac cries out with great pain, having just given the blessing to his brother. Your brother has come with great deceit and has taken away your blessing. One contemporary scholar explains, because Jacob's beguiled his father, it leads to years of hostility while also dealing with his own growing family. Jacob's issues with deception become so inextricably linked with his raising of his own kids that the values that his children derive from him are filled with immorality and dysfunction. We see this when Jacob's sons sell their brother Joseph into slavery, as well as another number of other cases. Deception does not just come back to haunt Jacob, but it perpetuates itself into his generations. However, looking at Isaac's personality throughout Genesis, our Rabbi Plaut comes to a bit of a different conclusion. Rabbi Plaut argues that this deception is not necessarily real, claiming that Isaac knew Jacob was pretending to be Esau. Deep within himself, he knew this truth, but he was unable to own up to it. It was less painful, less challenging to pretend to have been deceived. Rabbi Plaut teaches us a lesson on the human condition. Sometimes it is simply easier to tell ourselves a different story than what we know to be true. That there is a caloric leakage when we break cookies in half. That the political leader that you support just said something reprehensible, but it's okay because they did not really mean it. That COVID has made you cancel a trip to see family, but it's fine. You're not too down about it. That it's okay to be treated poorly because I don't deserve better. Often, the first step to the deception of others is the misleading of our own selves. Acknowledging the truth can be challenging, especially in our time, when our reality seems more like a Hitchcock movie plot than any given day. Isaac did not face his truth, and there were repercussions in the generations to come because of it. We can learn from his example and make a different choice. This Shabbat, I'd like to challenge us to be honest with ourselves, to find and accept our own truths, to tell and accept within ourselves the things that we know to be accurate, but are not always so easy to hear. If we're going to be making cookies, let's eat them all in one piece. Wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom.